Defense. It's kinda weird and unreliable. Not completely, but it has only become a statistical significance as recently as 2003 when the calculations of defensive runs saved became available. Using much more complex arithmetic and technology to factor in the likelihood of a play being made, this new tool has really unveiled the truth of many players' careers and how valuable they truly were to the success of their team, rather than looking at more linear batting statistics or how flashy their gloves are on the highlight reel. It should be noted that DRS and fielding metrics overall are needed to be taken with a grain of salt over short periods of time, as the sample sizes are much larger to accurately determine the defensive value of a player because less opportunities are presented to boost or diminish player value. Before we had more advanced technology, archive stats and averages were the advanced form of defense analysis. We can take these stats today and transform them into a universal statistic called total zone runs. TZR can also be transferred into the alternative defensive wins above replacement, but I find the system to be unreliable for seasons before 2003, as it is inconsistent without the aid of DRS. While total zone runs are less reliable than DRS, they are effective enough to evaluate the lengthy careers of players who played after the 50s and before the 2003 season. There were a few very good fielders in the TZR era, but since entering the new millennium, we've had a bigger handful of elite defenders enter the league in what I believe is due to better scouting technology and the noticeable recent emphasis on pitching and defense more than offense that held key to league competition for decades. Guys like Matt Chapman and Adam Everett would have much less favorable opinions from scouts than they do now. And since we're on the topic of the modern state of baseball, defensive runs saved has been proven to be a godsend to more defense-focused players, as now their often unappreciated contributions are documented more accurately and clear. To emphasize my point, I will sample 3 players: Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, and Kevin Kiermaier. I will be using the runs above replacement statistic, which factors in defense. To demonstrate, Mike Trout, unarguably the best player in baseball, contributes an average of 0.6 runs per game. Bryce Harper contributes an average of 0.3 runs per game, and the dark horse Kevin Kiermaier contributes a surprising 0.4 runs per game. More than the star power Bryce Harper and reasonably close to the best player in the majors Mike Trout, more than half of Kiermaier's contributed runs were because of his glove, supporting my point how quietly defense can help when a player with a pedestrian .734 for a career OPS is stacking up higher than the bona fide face of baseball Bryce Harper, who has a career .849 career OPS. In a similar vein to Kevin Kiermaier, there are a select amount of players in history that have more defensive runs than offensive runs. This is a rare breed of major leaguer, as offensive runs are more common and have more opportunities presented to obtain, as I explained earlier. But alas, some players have actually managed to become competent and even good all around solely because of their fielding ability. There are some in the current era like Nick Punto, Adam Everett, Brandon Inge, Brendan Ryan, and Craig Counsell, but the most interesting player to fall under this category is one of my personal favorite players of all time, Mark Belanger. All you need to know about him is that he has a .228 batting average, averages 2 home runs a year, and has a spectacularly bad career OPS plus of 68. Yet, he accumulated an impressive 40 wins above replacement, 18 above the average, won a World Series, has more total zone runs than Ozzie Smith, despite playing about 4,000 less games than Smith did, and is 40th all-time among shortstops in the Jaws Hall of Fame leaderboards. Someone as fielding-centric and offense-barren as Mark Belanger, with the amount of success he had, will likely never show up again in the history of baseball. Basically, Derek Jeter is overrated.
All the clouds turn to words. All the